Hello, and thank you for attending the Fall 1 2018 Intramural Team Representative Meeting. We will be going over all the important information that you need to know for intramural sports. While playing intramural sports, injury is a possibility, so when playing, you are assuming your own risk. No matter how serious or minor the injury, we are not held liable. Concussion is another serious topic that we do not take lightly, so if you are removed from a game because you are suspected of a head injury, you cannot return to play until you have a doctor's note stating you can return. We have a sportsmanship of 0 to 4, 0 being the lowest, 4 being the highest. In order to make the playoffs in intramurals, you must have a 3.0 or higher. If you have below, you will not be eligible to make the playoffs. A 4 would be a perfect game, no issues with other players, the officials, and all-around good sportsmanship. A 3 sportsmanship would be max 1 unsportsmanlike penalty, some arguing, complaining, or dissent towards the officials or other players. A 2 sportsmanship would be max 1 ejection or 2 unsportsmanlike penalties, consistent dissent, or arguing towards the officials or other players. 1 sportsmanship would be 2 or more ejections, excessive disrespect, dissent, and arguing, or 1 teammate involved in a fight. A 0 sportsmanship would essentially be an all-out brawl, any destruction of property, and if any of this occurs, the team would be suspended indefinitely. Team captains are not only responsible for the conduct of their team, they are also responsible for the conduct of their fans. If a fan were to be disrespectful towards a player or official or get ejected, that would lower the sportsmanship of the overall team. If a player were to be ejected from a game, it is a minimum of a 1-week suspension, and they must meet with the administrators, myself, Zach Bemmel, or Drew Salvador. Depending on the severity of the incident, the issue may be sent up to judicial affairs. The game will come to an end, and the team will forfeit if that team has 3 unsportsmanlikes or 2 ejections, whichever comes first. If a player were to have 2 unsportsmanlikes in the same season, they are to meet with the administrators, Zach Bemmel and Andrew Salvador. If a player were to have 4 individual unsportsmanlikes or 2 ejections, they will be done for the season. It is important that after the game, your team picks up all trash that is left behind. If excessive trash is left behind, it will lower your team's sportsmanship rating. In order to be eligible to participate in intramural sports, you must be a UC faculty or staff member or a UC student. You must also possess an active membership. Full-time students already possess one. If you are a part-time co-op branch student or faculty or staff, you must purchase a membership if you do not already have one. Club sports players are eligible to play in intramural sports. However, you can only have a certain amount of club players on your intramural team. With sports with 1 to 4 players, you can have 1 club member of a similar sport. And with sports 5 and up, you can have 2 club members of a similar sport. In the same or similar intramural sport, 0 current or former professional athletes can participate, and varsity athletes must be 365 days removed from their team roster. Please keep in mind that you can only play for 1 same-gender sport and 1 co-ed sport. So you cannot play men in fraternity or women in sorority. You can play men in co-ed or women in co-ed. Every single intramural game, you will need your Bearcat card to check in, especially for the first game. If it is past your first game and you forget your Bearcat card, you can use a state-issued ID to check in, but you can only use that up to 2 times per season. Also, please do not use a fake ID or someone else's ID. If you are caught doing so, the card will be confiscated and given to public safety. As team captain, you are able to add all players online on imleagues.com. Please be aware that there is a roster maximum for each sport. For 11-on-11 soccer, the roster maximum is 25 players. For 6-on-6 volleyball, softball, and ultimate frisbee, the roster maximum is 20 players. New this year, you must have the minimum amount of players added to your roster prior to your first game. Captains can confirm players to be added to the roster on imleagues.com, Inviting players alone is not enough. Again, you must confirm those players. If you are looking to add more players to your team, please utilize the free agent feature on imleagues.com. These are players that are currently not on a team but are interested in playing intramural sports. As a team captain, you can protest a few things. Some of those things are rule interpretation. If you feel an official has applied the rules incorrectly, you must stop play and officially protest. You can also protest player eligibility if you feel that there is a varsity player on the team. You can do this at any point throughout the game. The one thing you cannot protest is the judgment of an official. Forfeits will occur 10 minutes after game time, and the team that did not show up will receive a 2 in sportsmanship, which again is below the 3 required in order to make the playoffs. If your team forfeits once throughout the regular season, you are to pay a $20 reinstatement fee in order to be eligible for the playoffs. If your team forfeits a second time, you will be kicked out of the league. If you know your team is unable to make an intramural game, you can default as opposed to forfeiting. If you need to default, email us 48 hours in advance, and you will still be eligible for the playoffs, and you will not need to pay a reinstatement fee. And defaulting will be a 3 sportsmanship as opposed to a 2. Please be aware that any jewelry, hats, watches, or fitness trackers are not permitted while playing intramural sports. And if you are wearing a cast or a knee brace, it must be padded. In order to play intramural sports, you must wear athletic clothing and footwear only. While on turf, please do not wear metal cleats or screw-in cleats. And while on the basketball courts, we ask that you wear non-marking shoes. In the event of any inclement weather, please call our weather hotline, which is 513-556-4FUN. In order to qualify for the playoffs, you must have an average sportsmanship rating of 3 or better, 0 forfeits, or if you did forfeit, you pay the $20 reinstatement fee, and completed the captain's quiz once per season. If you are participating in 11-on-11 soccer, please be aware that there is no slide tackling whatsoever, and shin guards are not required but are highly recommended. During the last week of the regular season, you will receive a playoff email. This email consists of important information such as adding players, paying your reinstatement fee, and a link to the playoff availability form. If you do not fill out this playoff availability form, we will not meet your time requests. Thank you for attending the Fall 1 online team representative meeting. The intramural schedule will be out Friday, September 7th, and the season will begin Sunday, September 9th. Thank you and good luck this season.